so we are starting late. Quick intro. I forgot to press the record button, so this is the SIG Autoscaling weekly meeting on the 18th of September 2025. We've discussed a PR about a specific bug in Cluster Autoscaler that we'll be following up on. There's a PR in review, and now we're moving on to the second item on the agenda. Adrian?
Cool, thank you. So looking for review on the cap for scale to 0 in the HPA. So we need tech leads, and then also we'll need API review, but the ask here is for tech leads to review it. I know Jack's reviewed it, but we still need some sort of approval or opt-in or and milestone added.
Is Jack here?
Jack is here.
Here, yes.
Oh, hi. Different name.
And then the second item that's left over from last week, I don't know if Louise and Cam are busy working on that release, and I don't know if they're stuck or unlocked. John Mark, did you say you sat next to one of them? So he's still on mute. Okay. Well, we might need some help with that release if they're blocked, but I see that they last left an update. Oh, it looks like it's work in progress. Cool. That's fine. We can ignore that item.
Okay, Jack, do you think you could progress that cap if you've already started reviewing?
I think I can, yeah.
Perfect. All right, great. Let me go again.
Yes. So as part of like the bugs that I've been, and exploring, we found another one that kind of impacts cluster API, and I think it has the possibility to impact other providers who do the same kind of thing, but I'm not sure if any other providers do it. But essentially, the case is like this: Cluster API can do something where it can upgrade nodes that it's handling, right? And so we allow, although we're advising people not to do this, but we allow the cluster autoscaler to operate when a node group is undergoing an upgrade. Unfortunately, because of the way Cluster API expresses its node group size to the cluster autoscaler, it means that during an upgrade, it's possible if the user is able to if the user changes the cadence of the upgrade, it's possible for the autoscaler to observe more nodes in a node group than the node group size reflects. And so in Cluster API, what's happening is we're noticing that the autoscaler says, I want to delete these nodes. They're old nodes that are being upgraded, but the user is like kind of holding those nodes for maintenance. And then the autoscaler reduces the node size, and this causes the Cluster API components to sometimes they'll delete the wrong nodes, that kind of thing. So in looking at the cluster autoscaler code, especially the scale down code, before the autoscaler actually requests the scale down to occur, it does some things like it marks the node, for deletion, and it taints the node. It drains and cordons the node if you've got those things configured. And so we needed a way for the provider to be able to tell the autoscaler core that this node is actually not a good candidate for removal and to not start draining and cordoning. So one of the ways that we found to solve that was to introduce a new cloud provider interface function. And so actually, let me put a link. I've got a link. I've put up a PR, and we're having some great discussion. And I don't think she's here now, but Alexandra Molinowski has been doing some great discussion on there. And so I want to give a shout out to her because it's really cool.
She's one of the OGs who started the code base.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate all the comments she's been giving because it's been a great discussion there. That's the PR. I'm not sure that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
One question to that. How does the scale down node processor tie into this? the one that allows you to select like which nodes are good candidates for scale down.
Yeah. Like I didn't see anything in the scale. Like this happens, I think, after that, after the scale down processors, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. I'm just more asking, like, have you considered that as a solution?
I did look at it. I was trying to figure out if there was a way that we could have the custom scale down, like we could add a custom scale down processor. I think I probably need to do more investigation on that, though. That's a good suggestion.
Like, I'm thinking of how that compares to what we do in GKE. There's a couple of things like we can have nodes, like node pools undergoing upgrade, and scale down works, right? Like the part of it is that first of all, like we cordon all of the nodes during upgrade, right? So that ensures that they're not peaked as templates and they're not they don't mess up predictions. Other than that, we also can end up with like more nodes in the node pool than it sort of seems like. And there is some special handling in the max size method for that. But we also extensively use the scale down node processor for like if we know for sure that a node is not a good candidate to be scaled down, we just modify the scale down node processor to take that into account. So
Okay.
that would be
Let me
the
explore.
easiest solution, but I don't understand the full details yet. So I'll go through it and weigh in with how I see it could be fixed.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that. And I'll look at the scale down processors as well. That might, I remember looking at it originally and I didn't really I couldn't figure out how to fit what I wanted in there. But then when I was working with the cluster API maintainers, they kind of looked at the code in the autoscaler and they thought, well, okay, we need to prevent the autoscaler from doing the coordinating and draining and those kind of things
There's
because
always, there's always an argument for maybe we need some of the capability that this processor gives us and sort of move it to cloud providers so it's easier
right,
to integrate
right,
without necessarily like rolling your own fork. So for
yeah,
sure, for sure.
okay.
But this sounds like the mechanism that we want in general. Like
Yeah, we'll figure it out, but I think like at a bigger scale, I agree with you, Kuba. I think like there are some features that we could add to the autoscaler that would allow it to be less intrusive for cloud providers who do lots of, just whatever, upgrading or, maintenance or whatever it is. So yeah, okay. I'll look at the scale down processors. Happy for any comments on the review or the issue or whatever. So yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
I hope I'll get to that again next week, but
Yeah.
I do have a pile of stuff on me.
No, I get it. Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, so I appreciate any time you have. Thanks.
Right. The next one is from Justina, who couldn't join us today, but this is basically a call out that if you remember the recent buffers API that we did an alpha v1 of it, and Justina has a document out that discusses how to extend it for more use cases, in particular around consuming the buffer capacity. So what we rolled out was basically a static buffer on top of real pods. So that's easy to implement, but many use cases require sort of for that buffer to be consumed by other pods and then not recreated. So Justina has gathered all of those use cases and like some ideas on how to extend the API in a document and request for comment. Next one, we have Pfeiffer, Carpenter. Are you here?
Hi, yes, sorry, yeah, it's me. I was tapped out. Yeah, it's what I presented last week. I opened a ticket for that for the migration stuff. Just wanted to ask if there's like any follow-up we need to do there.
I am a bit out of the loop. Could somebody bring me up to speed?
So it's a Carpenter provider I wrote for IBM Cloud, and I'm looking to donate it to the SIG.
I see. Okay. Jack, have we started anything on this?
No, but I think we can probably work with some of the legacy maintainers of the SIG to figure out the process to do that. I feel like it should
we are.
be something that we would want to support. So
Yeah, we are the leads group is in a bit of a personal change at the moment, so we are understaffed.
but also, Josephine, just to clarify, there's nothing sort of out of the ordinary in terms of the provider being outside of the SIG. So I would encourage folks to carry on maintaining the provider project. I know that the Azure project, Azure providers under the Azure GitHub org, and I think that I can't remember if the AWS provider is moved over to Kubernetes SIGs or not.
No, it's
No.
in
But-
AWS.
No.
Yeah, so carry on as normal, but if we want to initiate that conversation, I think we'd welcome that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just under my personal GitHub at the moment.
Yeah, that presents I think an interesting use case compared to AWS and Azure, which are more sort of institutionally maintained. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's a good conversation to have. Yeah.
So
All right, awesome.
I guess, Jack, we don't know how this process works yet, right? We need to follow up, and we can revisit this next week.
Yeah, it's a matter of
Yeah.
like, I'm not sure exactly what the governance requirements might be.
Yeah,
And I'm also not
exactly.
sure what the housekeeping would be behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just on my side, I just followed kind of the process that Mike was following to donate his repo. So there's this ticket
It's-
open now, I guess.
Yeah. Like, it's not a comment on your role in the process. It's just that we don't know our side of it
Okay. Okay.
well enough off the top of our heads, and we need to follow up.
All right. Cool.
Jack, next one.
yeah, so I've been on vacation as well, and I'm just back. So apologies for kind of putting myself on the spot here and not having all the context. But I don't think anything's changed since I left about the patch releases. So I just wanted to give a quick PSA. Those are in progress. 133.1 is more or less ready to go when I left last Friday. The other ones I'm having trouble building and pushing Docker images, so I'll continue to reach out to folks. But just to PSA that is in progress. And after that, I think we can immediately, I'll confer with you, Kuba, if we want to wait for anything. I saw the buffers AEP actually has some implementation, so I'm not sure if we wanted that to go into 134 or if we want to wait for 135. So we can have a quick think about that. But other than that, I think we can cut 134 in the next week or so.
I don't think that's a blocker, but that's a good call out. I'll confirm. All right. James Fran?
Yes, but first, Kuba, you didn't congratulate Adrian for his new role.
Oh yes, that is also an item I missed when I was out. Yes, Adrian, congratulations. I don't know how much of the formal process have been conducted yet. We definitely need to follow up on it as well. So congrats and welcome in. Thanks
It's
for
still
all the
in
contributions so far.
It's still in the lazy consensus period, so it's
okay, that makes sense.
almost.
It can still fail.
Okay. Thanks, John Mark.
But yes, I had configurable tolerances ready to be promoted to beta in 1.34, but I missed the freeze deadline. Well, Guy was not very available back then, and I didn't push very hard, I must say. But I plan to go back on this. It's just adding one end-to-end test and promoting the flag. So I hope it's quite trivial. Is there somebody that can help approve those PRs?
Basically, in the HPA, we're having a process that Adrian and me are reviewing the PRs, and then we're messaging Magic to get the final approval. So once you're okay with this, I can ping him and maybe review it myself, and he will approve it. We have an open channel with him. So
Okay.
currently, I'm the only one available to approve PRs.
Okay, thank you much.
Perfect. And last one, Omar.
Yeah, so we started to create the VPA Helm chart, and we need the SIG leads to just make sure everything's all right and help us with the onboarding process. I've already opened the PR, so just please approve if you feel that's okay or not. And once we have the ownership of this, we can, push things more quickly. But for now, we don't have the permissions to. Yeah.
For sure. Jack, do you have any context on Helm charts? I am sadly inexperienced with that part of Kubernetes.
I do. I'm happy to help out. So yeah, use me as a resource owner.
Sorry for pushing everything on you.
No, it's all good.
Right, thanks.
I was on the original team that we built Helm, so occasionally it comes up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful tool.
I guess there's also one more item in the NDIX. I'm not sure how to pronounce the username, and the IXITA about pod level resources GA. Are you on the call? I don't think so. So maybe let's punt it to next week. Unless anybody else knows the context about pod level resources GA. This is VPA, right? Okay. If there's nobody and there's no original poster, then let's skip this for next week. Any other topics?
I have just something real quick. I just wanted to, since Jack is here, I don't know if you saw the pings I sent you on Slack, but I took the liberty of refactoring the cluster API like unit test suite. So, and I think you're probably the only other person who would understand what I've done there. So, anyways, I just wanted to give a shout out,
Cool. There's another PR that I abandoned like 6 months ago because I was having mysterious unit test failure. I wonder if that will suddenly magically work now. We'll see.
Well, so the cluster API unit tests were really bad about we had evolved these functions to set up the mock objects inside of the testem server, or whatever it is, and it became really difficult to start to test these new things that we're adding because every time we do it, we have to change these kind of brittle test functions. So I refactored all those into a fluent builder style interface so that hopefully when new people come to look at the test, it's very obvious oh, I need one of these with one of these and one, just to make it easier for people to build unit tests there and maintain.
Yeah, the old unit test pattern is in CA is horrible.
Yeah.
In our internal unit tests, we also moved to builders everywhere.
Yeah, so I didn't actually destroy all the old interface, but I wrapped it all in this builder stuff, so it's a little bit easier to kind of interact with. But and if you get a chance, Jack, I'd love your comments.
All right, last call. Any other topics? I don't think so. Okay, thanks everyone. See you all next week.
Thanks.
Bye.